Hey y'all, welcome to the Honesty Circle, the safe space for heart to heart conversations rooted in faith, discussing mental health, navigating adulthood, and all the things in between. It's your host, Sierra Elise, and I hope you're taking care of not only your mental and spiritual, but your emotional and physical health so you can be your best self this week. Hey y'all, welcome back to the episode of the Honesty Circle. It is me, your host, Sierra Elise. How are y'all doing? I hope you're doing great and know that God loves you and I love you too. So we're back with that episode. And this week we are talking about being prepared, okay? And clearly God wants me to process this in real time because multiple things. Number one, I've known this was my topic all week and I actually tried to prepare it out like I typically do. And normally I feel like I have a cohesive you know, beginning intro, kind of talk it through the points, wrap it up towards the end, right? Like there's like a little formula to this. But this time I feel that God's giving me all of these points or like all of these things are like here. Like I have notes, right? But it's like not really cohesive. But I know what I'm trying to talk about, if that makes sense. So this is I hope it comes across right and we're just gonna believe God because that's all we gonna do. That's all we can do. But I think it also connects to with like how I'm supposed to be doing this like new kind of version or new perspective of the honesty circle of like really talking about my experience and doing it more real time. Because literally, I mean, I feel like I have things, but at the same time, I have nothing. Like I literally wrote here, um, God wants me to process in real time on the mic. Because preparing the episode, I literally said, I don't have anything. But that I realized that was like really fear and doubt and like from the enemy. And um, I was trying to allow my faith to be like, you know, you have something, like you do have know what you're trying to talk about. And then also I was like, by the time I record and press play, I'm gonna know what I'm supposed to talk about or like what is supposed to come across. And I still don't know exactly what's coming across, but I also know I believe that it's gonna be fine. That's where I'm at. The second thing is that I told y'all, I was like, I'm not gonna be recording and posting the video on the same week. Well, we're gonna have to wait until after travel season because clearly that's not gonna work until after that because it's literally Saturday night and I'm recording this. And what's today? The 25th. Yeah, today's the 25th and the episode drops on the 27th. Yeah, 27th. So we are back in the record and post same week, but it's okay because my like post production part of it has gotten quick. So at least we have that part done. Um, but so I just want to talk through like when I think about like being prepared. Because this season of my life, I feel like that's been a constant thing of like God reminding me like you are prepared for this, you are prepared for this. And like I think a big thing like when trials and like tribulations come in life, oftentimes I feel like I realize that I have experienced something similar to what I'm experiencing now, or at least I can do a quick little I finesse it if that makes sense. Where it's like, okay, pull a piece from there, and do a little 1-2 and make it work, right? Um, and I think sometimes like that would make me feel like not prepared. Doing a little 1-2, trying to finesse something is like I don't feel prepared for by doing that. But at the same time, it's like, well, if you're able to pull from something, clearly something is there. So clearly there's a level of preparedness. Um, and I something I've also realized about myself is I like to prepare myself. I like to do all that I can to make sure that I'm in the best position that I can be in. for kind of anything. And if I choose not to do that, that's my choice, right? Like if I choose, um, like if I know I have a specific, like on Sundays, or not Sundays, okay, yeah, let's use Sundays for example. So like tomorrow I have a theme that I kind of have to dress around. And typically other times when I have to sing, like I still have like a color scheme or whatever, right? And yeah, I talk about my outfits and how I, take a long time to get ready, but most of the time it's just because I change outfits 30 times. And if I don't do the due diligence of preparing the night before, then I'm gonna be late in the morning and I have to deal with that consequence. But that's my choice. I don't like having to like deal with like if I don't like when other people don't prepare for something I have to get involved in, right? Because if it was me, I'm gonna make sure I'm prepared for anything I'm gonna experience. If I'm not prepared, I like it to be on me. Like I want it to be my fault that I'm not prepared, not anybody else's. Um, and typically I feel like when it comes to like trying to prepare myself for things, like I prepare for things that I feel like I'm more worried about or that I want to make sure goes well or things like that. Things I'm more confident in, I'm just like, meh, it's gonna work itself out. Like I don't have to worry, I don't have to do whatever. And I found myself like realizing that I prepare out of worry and out of fear. And that isn't necessarily like the life I really should be living because I mean, God's not giving us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And so that's not a sound mind if I'm preparing out of fear. And something else that God has like talked me through or talked with me about was, and actually I'm gonna pull this up, which I actually didn't plan to show this, but or talk about this, but I turned to the perfect page in this. This is me writing. So this is like my prayer journal. So like a lot of this, the I and the you is talking to God. So I'm about to read this out. So it says, "Help me rest in you. You are with me in the discomfort and not understanding." Ephesians 2:10 is the verse of the day. For we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. And the devotional part, it says, He has prepared you for this. And I said, I know that is true, but I don't feel prepared. Understanding and comfort equals prepared to me, but clearly prepared isn't that. I am not sure what prepared looks like in this season. Felt, sorry, if what I felt before about the past year was was the prep and grow, and this season is the live it out. I pray, Lord, that you help me live out what I've learned in the past year. I know I gained something in all that has happened, so help me put into action. And may I gain comfort in that. I will remain confident in this that I will see your word come to pass. Thank you, and I'm praising you for it. So, I read that, and what day was that? That was May 12th. Ooh, that was forever ago. So that was May 12th, and I read that because that shows how, like, when I feel discomfort, I feel that I'm not prepared. Or if I don't understand, I feel that I'm not prepared. And really, God, since then, has shown me, like, I had wrote that of, like, I know that you prepared me, but, like, I don't think I really, like, lived in that knowledge or that I rested in that true knowledge up until more recently, I would say in the past, like, month or two, of realizing, like, everything that has happened in my life or everything that has happened in this season or these past seasons of my life, from the pruning into like being in school, like all that I learned in that time, like God is really showing me now where it's like you learned all of that, but now it's also time to live it out. And I think that in living it out, it's scary, like especially when God's like pushing me to do things, and like not the podcast specifically, but he's pushing me to be more vulnerable and to drop the mask and to like be more raw and authentic and more like real time processing this. And I realized how, like, with the fear that comes with that, and like it's in my heart to be like, oh, I'm not ready, like, keep pushing back, um like doing the podcast and not really trying to share or trying to overthink and like all of these things, and not really realizing that like the goal in this was to rest in the knowledge that I've received from doing this podcast years before now. um and it's interesting because I think that, um when I think about like the last times in life where I felt like the most like secure and prepared for something, and the first, well, not the last time, but the first thing that came to my mind was thinking about like back to school time, and where like your parents are getting you all the um like school supplies and stuff like that. And I was thinking that this actually came to me like right before the episode. I was just like reading through the few points I had. I only had like 6 points before it now. And that point, like, it just really made even more sense to me. I wrote, the last time I felt this prepared was because I trusted my parents would prepare me. Um, and like I felt God was telling me to like let your heavenly Father prepare you. Um, and it's interesting because it's like, yeah, like when my parents would like buy all the things, like when it was their job to get me ready for the school year, and it was their job to, you know, get me ready for the school year, then huh, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm hands up. Like, all right, I like that color. Yes, yep. I like that book bag. Actually, can I get those pens? Yep. And actually, let me not say book bag. I was a tote girly, so let me not even get that lie started. But y'all get the point. So I was just kind of resting in the comfort of like, yeah, my parents got it. And now as like an adult, like, yeah, but no, like they got it, but it's my job to have it too, you know? Um, and in the end of the day, it's like I have to trust God is preparing me for what He wants me to do when He wants me to do it. Something I also say too, it's like God, if I don't understand it right now, that means God didn't want me to understand. Because if I was supposed to understand it, I would have understanding. And so I think that's helped me like rest in just not understanding, like what's happening and like where I'm going. But knowing that one, um, like God has gone before me and prepared the way before me, and He's also with me now, and He also has my back, and so it's just really been a comfort in knowing that I can like rely on um what has happened. And a thing too that I got, or when I was reading this week the story of David and Goliath. And you read this story all the time. Like people know that like David defeated Goliath. Like we know that, people know, that he was a shepherd before, and so he like he kind of just like used his past experience of um let me pull up what I wrote. But he used his past experiences to like know that and have the confidence that he was prepared. Um, and so, okay, so I'm reading David this morning in Goliath, noticing that David picked his weapons based solely on hearing Goliath. He never saw him. He accepted the challenge others feared, which obviously we knew that. But there were obstacles he conquered before talking to Saul. The obstacles I know might have sorry obstacles I know I might have allowed to influence what I said to Saul. Like I feel like if these things would happen to me, oh Buki, we wouldn't have been out there fighting. I'm good, thank you. No, thank you. I'm gonna stay right here. Go back to my daddy house and tend to my sheep. I'm really good. Um, One, like he witnessed other people fleeing. So they must have been scared. Also, his older brother got mad at like, cause he, let me pull it up so I'm not just making up nothing. First Samuel chapter 17. That is where I'm like gonna be reading from a few. I'm gonna go jump around because it's a lot actually. But kind of if you start at verse, well, the whole chapter, but main kind of ones like verse 20, and then verse 23. Um, as he was talking to them, behold, the champion, the Philistine of Gath, named Goliath, was coming up to the armies of the Philistines and spoke these same words again. And David heard him. So that's what I knew. Like, that's how you know, like, he didn't see what he looked like, he just heard him. And in verse 24, it says, when the men of Israel all saw the man, they fled from him and they were frightened. And so watching other people flee, that would have me like, all right, I'm good. I'm so good. That alone. But then also if you skip down to verse 28, now his older brother, I don't know how to say his name, Eliab's anger burned against David. And he said, why have you come down here? With whom did you leave those few sheep in the wilderness? And he talks about some other stuff. So like he's angry with him. So not only watching other people flee, then his brother was mad. And like I know I love my siblings, but not just like him, but like, or not just my siblings, but think about like people in general. Like if they were mad at me for like for it too, like that perfectionism, people pleasing side will come out of like, oh wait, like I want them to think well of me, like I don't want them to think negative of me. So like, okay, let me rethink my perspective of this, you know? And then again, he goes to Saul, and Saul says, you're not able to go against the Philistines to fight him, for you are only a young man, and he has been a warrior since his youth. So now you also have someone downplaying you and being like, all right, you're way too young. And I said, I don't know if this alone would have made me, because like pride and ego would have been like, who can't fight? Who can't? I can. But still, then like that's not just still doing it with the right heart posture. That's still doing it with pride and with pride and arrogance. But before he even got to the point where he was like going forward, like all of those things came up. I feel like all of that was the opinions of other people. And I feel like God was like showing me in this of like like what opinions of other people are holding me back and like clouding the fact that I am prepared for this, that I am ready for whatever's next. And some of the things, it's like not other people. Some of the outside influences or opinions are from myself. Like they aren't just like, oh, people are telling me like you're too young or blah blah blah. Like yes, but like so what? But I think reading this, number one, showed me all this like things that could have influenced him from saying from shying away. And I also was like realizing all the excuses that I also give from conquering whatever giant God has called me towards. And that's something that like I'm really wrestling with, and I still don't necessarily have an answer because yeah, I was like, you know, thinking up through of like what's my giant, and like how can I let um outside influences, the opinions of other people, the excuses I give myself, any of these things that are stepping stones for me even to then say I can do it. And another thing too, obviously like in this, like when David's talking to Saul and saying like why he's able to do it, he utilizes his past experiences, which is what I said before. But if he would have allowed those further opinions to be louder than what like he knew and like what he believed, then he wouldn't even got to the point to think back of, wait, I am prepared for this. And so I really started to think within myself, like, okay, like I said, what excuses do I keep giving do I keep putting in the way before I even take the next step to think that I am prepared? Right? Like, I think that's where I'm like piecing all this together, where it's like, I can't even get to the point of being prepared because I have all these excuses in the way from even realizing that I am prepared. And prepared for what? I mean, I could go on and on, but um, I would say, how would I describe like prepared for? I think it's more so the testing of this season. Um, I had gone through a season of pruning for sure. When I was in school, I mean, whew, not only was I like, anxious or what all these things, like, I mean, I was also like very like going deeper with God in general. So like it wasn't that um it wasn't that school solely was the thing that was like pruning me. I think a lot of it too was like learning and unlearning a lot about myself. Letting God really like transform how I see other people, how I choose to show up in spaces. Like one thing I even realized was that why am I able to be so joyous everywhere else and just be like upbeat and whatever, but when it comes to work, I'm like I do my job and I talk to my friends and that's it. But like, where is that same level? Like, where's that same dedication, that same heart to serve? Where's that same energy, period, at work that I also have like at church? And it really came to where it's like, the opinions of our people. I want people at church to see that I'm good. But it's like, okay, that's not why you do those things. You do them because I called you to it, but it's also just not about the outward appearance. And so I think that's allowed me to get to this season now where I'm able to um, actually have a heart to do the things that I'm doing, which I know that I didn't have the heart before, but I think it's just, it's the right heart. Let me say that. It's the right heart to do what it is that I'm doing. And it has, and why am I able to do that? Because of everything that happened the past, months. Being able to see different things that feel like opposition, being able to see that and choose to love, choose to be kind, choose to, like, when I say love, like, I mean show the love of Christ to all people, no matter how they treat me, no matter what they say to me, no matter what they say about me, no matter if they smile my direction or not. um like, truly not letting anybody else get me out of my character. um and why can I say that? Like, why am I prepared to be able to um actually live that out? Like, you could, it's good to say, and I would say it, but to be now tested, to see like, oh, do you actually have that? Like, do you actually love people the way that I'm, commanding you to love people? Child, it is not easy, but I'm prepared for it, and I know that through past experiences, I have the capacity and the capability, not by my own power, not by my own anything, but truly because God has prepared me and He has given me the tools that I need to walk out and live out what He has commanded me to do. And yeah, that's that. That's how I know God is just flowing at this point, because I haven't looked at the notes. Um, yeah, learn from being tested. Yeah. Um, oh, another thing too is, one thing that has been very critical for me in this season is being less reactive, to be able to take inventory and seeing that I am prepared and that I can do this. Um, and one thing, I when I don't understand something, I get really like rage. Like, it's actually funny. Like, it's not funny, But like, it's funny if someone were to see me like back in the day, not anymore. Shout out to Deliverance, but like literally back in the day, early on in my like master's program, I wouldn't understand something. I'm like crashing out for real. Like when I say crashing out, I literally mean like instant tears, like temper tantrum, literally. And I will say by the time I finished my master's program, if I didn't understand something, I was able to like take a second. Hold on, girl. Let's think through. Let's take a second. Because also I know like, if I'm heightened with emotions, I can't figure nothing out. I'm prepared for nothing. I can't even think back to what things I know to help add two and two together to get 17. You get the point. Um but being less reactive, truly, I mean, and it's the small things, like even when it comes to like I had got a flat tire, and young Sierra would be like, oh my gosh, my day is ruined, da da da. Girl, you have roadside assistance for a reason. Relax, calm down, call that roadside assistance, do what you got to do. um Even if it messed up the plan of the day, like, so what? um and my last thing of this is how I like it's really coming full circle of like how God was trying to show me. When Zeke has been getting really bad car anxiety, and something that has helped has been riding with the windows down. And I do not like to ride with the windows down at all. Um, but something God was really telling me was like, how long are you how long will you endure conditions that you do not like for an outcome that you want? You do not like the windows to be down, but you want your dog to be calm in the car. So how long are you willing to endure that? Because like I would like roll it down for like 3 minutes and then like roll it back up, roll it down, roll it back up, like. And it was like, are you gonna keep doing this? Or are you gonna sustain what you know are conditions that you don't like, but there's an outcome that you like? Zeke is calm. And also he's like, you can pull, like, literally I was like, I'm cold, I don't even like this, blah blah. I have a sweatshirt in my car, sweatpants in my car, because I was like wearing shorts and like a t-shirt or whatever. Like, okay, go to a rest stop or go to an exit, pull those things out your bag and put it on and keep driving. Like, because he was like, does your answer change of how long I'm able to withstand these conditions if you knew that you have what you need to keep going? And I heard that and I said, I'm mute. I'm mute. And I think that that alone is the whole thing of being prepared. Like, um, doing and being in situations that you don't necessarily like, but for an outcome that you want, knowing that I have the tools with me, inside of me, you get the point, to be able to execute and to do it. Because why? God has prepared me for whatever it is, whatever feels too big, whatever feels too small, like God's prepared me. Whatever it is. And I have to keep reminding myself, and and because I like literally will get anxious and like do whatever. I'm like fear and all these things. I'm like, really back in. God's prepared me. I am prepared for this. Um, and I do not have to rely on my understanding, because I'm not supposed to do that anyways. It says trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean out on your understanding, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. So if I am relying on His understanding, His level of the fact that He has prepared me, trusting Him, I'm just supposed to trust Him and lean out on my understanding, and the preparedness is there. It's already there. So that is what this episode's about. Being prepared. And literally this episode, I prepared as much as I could and still had basically nothing. And look, God has prepared me for the episode, as I knew He would. But it feels nice when you know He was, and He did, and He does. But yeah, that's it for this week's episode. C's 2 cents though is that you are more prepared than you think you are. You are more prepared. Do not let excuses from other people, don't let outside influences stop you from conquering that giant. because you are prepared to conquer that giant. Whatever it is, whatever you're facing, you are prepared. You can take my advice or not. That's just my 2 cents, though. Thank y'all so much for watching this week's episode. If you like anything that you heard, please, 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 please like, comment, share, subscribe, share with a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about the Honesty Circle. And make sure you're following us on all social media platforms at the Honesty Circle with the underscore at the end for Instagram. Follow us on YouTube, all the things, wherever you're listening. Follow us. But I am excited for this. I'm excited for continuing this journey with you guys. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day whenever you hear this. And I hope that you go conquer your week. Bye, y'all.